Hello Magic players, and welcome to your Ravnica Allegiance pre-release. I'm Nelson.
I'm Serge. We're going to talk about the new and returning mechanics you'll be seeing today.
Let's start by reviewing our returning mechanics. The first returning mechanic is Hybrid Mana. As you cast a spell or activate an activated ability with hybrid mana symbols in its cost, you choose which color of mana you will spend for each hybrid mana symbol. For example, if a card has the blue-white hybrid symbol, you may choose to pay either blue or white to cast that spell. Each two-color hybrid symbol adds 1 to a card's converted mana cost. A card with hybrid mana symbols in its mana cost is each color that appears in its mana cost, regardless of what mana was spent to cast it.
Ever wish you had more choices on your cards? Well, good news, split cards are back. 2 powerful options in 1 card. All split cards have 2 card faces on a single card. To cast a split card, you choose one half to cast. There's no way to cast both halves of a split card in this set. When you cast a split card, only the half that you're casting goes onto the stack. The characteristics of the half of the card you didn't cast are ignored. Some things to note about split cards. Each split card has 2 names. If an effect instructs you to choose a card name, you may choose one of those names, but not both. Each split card is a single card. For example, if you discard a split card, you're discarding 1 card, not 2. Related, if an effect would count the number of instant and sorceries in your graveyard, a split card that is both an instant and a sorcery would only be counted once. While not on the stack, the characteristics of a split card are the combination of both halves. The card is all types printed on the card, and its converted mana cost is the sum of the 2 halves. If you copy a spell that's half of a split card, you cannot copy the other half.
That's it for our returning mechanics. Let's introduce the first of the new mechanics, the Azorius ability word, Addendum. Addendum is an ability word. It appears in italics and has no rules meaning. Think of Addendum as a bonus that could be added to your spell. That means when you cast a spell with Addendum, if you meet the Addendum condition, the spell has an additional or alternative effect. Addendum abilities apply while the spell is resolving, not immediately after casting it. If the spell is countered, you don't get the Addendum bonus. If a spell with an Addendum ability is copied, the copy won't give you the Addendum bonus. This is because the copy wasn't cast at all.
Aristocrats players rejoice and check out the new Orzhov keyword ability, Afterlife, that leaves a spirit behind when a creature dies. Afterlife is a triggered ability. Afterlife N means when this permanent is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create N 1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. Multiple instances of Afterlife will trigger separately. Afterlife will only trigger when the creature dies. If a creature is exiled from the battlefield or countered, Afterlife will not trigger. Note, because blockers are chosen all at once, you can't block with a creature with Afterlife, wait for it to die, and also block with a spirit token.
Rakdos returns with a very on-theme ability. If your opponent has lost life this turn, Spectacle will reward you. Spectacle is a static ability that functions on the stack. Spectacle means you may pay the Spectacle cost rather than pay the spell's mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. Remember, damage causes loss of life. Spectacle doesn't change when you can cast a card. For example, you can't cast a sorcery with Spectacle on your opponent's turn, just because they lost life that turn. The Spectacle cost is the same no matter how much life your opponent has lost.
The Gruul are back, and the new mechanic Riot is going to give aggro players some choices. Go fast or hit harder. Riot is a static ability. It means you may have this permanent enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. If you don't, it gains haste. Multiple instances of Riot will apply separately. For example, 2 of them means you get +2/+2, +1/+1 in haste, or double haste. Your choice. Double haste is redundant. Riot is a replacement effect. Players cannot respond to your choice of +1/+1 counter or haste. For example, if you have a burn spell, you can't try and respond to the counter and kill it before it gets larger. If a creature entering the battlefield has Riot, but cannot have a +1/+1 counter put on it, it will gain haste. If you choose for the creature to gain haste, it gains it indefinitely. It won't lose it at end of turn, or if another player gains control of it.
Our final new mechanic is the Simic keyword action, Adapt. Here's how it works. Adapt N means if this permanent has no +1/+1 counters on it, put N +1/+1 counters on it. As Adapt resolves, if the creature has a +1/+1 counter on it for any reason, don't put any +1/+1 counters on it. If a creature somehow loses all of its +1/+1 counters, it can adapt again and get more +1/+1 counters. And that's it! We've covered all the new and returning mechanics.
To all players in today's event, good luck and have fun.